Hello, and welcome back to Foods Entertainment for my review of 2024's Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. This has been a requested movie for me to review for quite a while now. I am very happy I'm getting around to it. Talk about the plot of the film, the rules opinion of the film, my opinion of the film. There's not really any trivia I know about this film, so it won't be a section for that. Get the film a ranking. All right. But I will talk about something I do regret about this movie. But I also will talk about my first experience watching this movie as well. This is not it. All right. Succumb to the Darkness. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is a gothic take of obsession between a haunted young woman and a terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in his wake. Starring Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoyt, Lily Rose Depp, Aaron Tyler Johnson, Emma Cullen, and William Dafoe. All right. The world's opinion. The world really liked this one. The world really did like this one. In fact, the public and moviegoers alike loved Nosferatu so much that this film was nominated for almost every Oscar. It didn't win any of them, but it was nominated for almost every single Oscar. It's a shame it didn't win anything, because I think that out of all the movies that came out in 2024, for early 2025, before the Oscars had happened, I would say out of all of them, this is the one movie that deserved to win Oscars. Several films got Oscars that I didn't agree with them getting it. The only film that got Oscars that I agree with out of this last season of Oscars was Dune Part 2. The only film that really was worth getting Oscars, really. All right. What people like about it? They like the gothicness, and I would say this right here, this movie, and we're going in my opinion, is the return from beyond the grave of a true gothic vampire movie. I'm just going to talk about what I like about it. This movie has everything I want out of a old school vampire movie. It has that very eerie sense of dread. It has that gothic nature. It feels like you're transported into another time, into another world of the past. It really does live up to its two predecessors. Not very way, but what I like about it is that they really truly made Count Orlok in this version of Nosferatu the thing of nightmares. He is far more nightmarish. He's far scarier in Robert Eggers' version of Nosferatu than the previous two by a country mile. They went all the way with this one. The film has that very disturbing thing. I would say that Robert Eggers is very much a fan of both the 1920s version and the 1970s version, and really brought that elements of those two. But I can also see that he's a fan of Bram Stoker's Dracula from Francis Coppola. because there's that sense of that old school 1800s aesthetic with with horror, violence, and gore and graphic nature in just downright adult filmmaking at its best in terms of creating this gothic world of Dracula. In this case, they called him Count Orlok in this one, like did in the 1920s version. Mostly names the characters in the 1920s version for all the characters in the film. Now, before I go on and do what I call a Nosferatu all three versions ranking, because I love doing that, and I might as well. I want to talk about my regret about this film in my first time watching it. My regret when it comes to Nosferatu is not going to the cinema to see it. Not actually going to the real cinema. And I would have loved to have gone to the IMAX cinema to watch this. I pretty much have been robbed of that now. The first time I watched Nosferatu, I did watch it theatrically. I watched it theatrically on this big screen that I pulled down right here. And I don't believe I actually had the Clips reference speakers at the time. I may have, but I don't remember me having these better speakers than subwoofer at the time. I simply loved watching it at home on my big screen, but I can tell you right now, it would have been so much of an experience watching it with an audience at a IMAX theater. And I knew we had a modern cult classic on our hands when I watched it on my 100-inch projector screen. That is up there. I knew that we had a future cult classic on our hands, and I can definitely see that happening with this movie. Now let's go ahead and do a couple rankings. First, let's rank all three versions of Nosferatu. And talk about why I rank them the way I'm going to rank them. Coming at the very bottom would be Nosferatu, A Sympathy of Horror. There's a reason why Nosferatu, A Sympathy of Horror ranks at the very rock bottom for me. It ranks at the very bottom for me because I just find that the movie didn't have much they could work with. It was just so quick, and it's a silent movie, and it's part of the silent era of filmmaking. Granted, it was one of the first movies ever made, I can tell you that too. But I can't get into it. I understand how iconic it is, and that everybody thinks I'm being mean. That's just because it ranks at the bottom of three films doesn't mean I hate the movie. It definitely does have its place. I kind of do like some of aspects of that one, but if you're going to go ahead and rank all three adaptations, or not really adaptations, but just all three versions of Nosferatu, one of them, and all three of them are great. One of them has to be at the rock bottom. One of them. I also don't like the ending. The ending leaves a lot to be desired, I would say. Coming in at number 2. Coming at number 2 would be 1979's Nosferatu, the Vampire. And for reasons I already talked about when I reviewed it, just before reviewing this movie, is I feel that it falls short of greatness because of it being held back by the Motion Pictures Associations of America, and for the filmmaker deciding to go ahead and make the movie PG and not go all no holds barred out with the film. and really make something that I think would have been spectacularly better with an R rating, some little bit of blood in there, a little bit more grittiness. I think it would have been a perfect movie, and it would be standing toe to toe with this one, which is definitely my favorite version of Nosferatu, and so many reasons. Reason number one is rated R. It does not hold back. It's rated R. It goes to those uncomfortable places. The fact that it goes to those uncomfortable places in a very eerie, outer-worldly, and very, very gothic ways, it makes it so much more of an elevation of the story of Nosferatu. In my opinion, told to perfection because of it. It takes elements that I like from the previous two. It takes that gothic element from these silent German movie. It takes the old school 70s gothic vampire themology that we had in the 70s with films like Selma's Lot, and it has that there. Mostly to do with the inner characters, not really to do with the vampire in the movie. And it kind of puts them all together. Like I said, I think Robert Eggers is a fan of both of them. You can definitely see that because our main heroine of the movie, played by Lily Rose Depp, is her version of that character is solely completely based off of the character of Lucy in the 1979 movie Nosferatu the Vampire. Almost like a spitting image of it. They very clearly based Nicholas Hoyt's character more off the 1979's version of Jonathan Harker. For sure. Because there are elements there. And it's just a creepy movie. And that right there is the key element right there. That's probably the main reason why I preferred this over the other two versions, is because this movie is downright creepy. Like I said, I like the fact that Count Orlok is far more creaturnistic. He's far more unsettling to look at. I mean, basically you had pointed ears, bald shaved head, and fangs, with a pale figure with 1979's version. And you had more or less the same thing, but with hair on the sides, like a bald spot on the head, in the 1920s version. And always wearing a cloak with those fingernails and stuff like that. You still had the you still had the fingernail thing going on with this version of the vampire, but they take it a bigger step further. They downright does make this thing look like he's not of this world. I mean, his body is disgusting. His body is just as disgusting and eerie as his face. And that right there, I think, is what makes it vastly superior. And how he feeds is disturbing. We're not talking about biting people on the neck. No, he like almost orgasmically just sucks it right out of you. And it just goes those places. And I know this is a longer review, and I know that some people don't like that, but sometimes you gotta take 15 minutes to review a movie instead of doing it in 10. This just happens to be one of those times. So I'm going to give the film a ranking, a solid 4 stars. This is a downright perfect movie, and it's one that I will be returning to time and time again. I love this movie. And that's my review of 2024's Nosferatu. Fu says, check it out if you haven't. And hope you enjoyed this review. Until next time.